What's up, you guys? This is Boomer. I just want to share with you how you guys can hire your first virtual assistant when it comes to your business or your basic everyday work. So I'm going to share with you guys on how to hire your first virtual assistant and some of my experience that can help and benefit you guys at the same time. So why hire a virtual assistant will probably be one of the common questions that you get. Obviously, you want to delegate things that are very time consuming to you, but doesn't produce a lot of income, such as email or talking to clients or following up with them, emailing back or texting them or qualifying them or asking some basic buying questions, right? Now that could probably take, if you have a pipeline of clients, it's a really good idea to have someone who you can train and actually can share those knowledge to them, so you don't have to keep on doing the same process when you can actually leverage your money, leverage your country that you live off of, and leverage your currency to create more time for yourself. And so you can focus on things that actually help you produce income and just focus on income producing activities. So a good example is someone like a business owner. Sales and marketing is like a huge thing. If the marketing is not working properly, like lead generation, have someone in front of you, then there's no point in selling something, because you can't sell something from air, right? So you gotta have someone in front of you. So when it comes to like prospecting, that takes a lot of time. When it comes to emailing, phone calling, catching up, touching base, following up, then you have to go through your sales process. So why not hire someone who you can train, and that takes probably 2 to 3 hours a day. Give that to someone else that you can delegate and teach, so you can save 14 hours of your time every single week. And so now if you do 14 times 52, that's about 728 hours that you saved in 1 year. So you gotta really ask yourself, how much is worth my time and how much is worth my day, and what kind of things can I improve to produce more income or make more productive activities for the company or for your business, is the question you always want to mainly ask for yourself. So you always want to, people commonly ask is, where can you look for these virtual assistants? You can look up these virtual assistants, of course, online. The websites you can do is Upwork, Fiverr, or you can also do onlinejobs.ph. It's basically all these platforms where you can hire someone overseas and do it. I like to generally focus on people on the Philippines, just because they're very hardworking people, very family-oriented people, and very budgetable. Because if you able to provide them like $250 or $500, depending if they're full-time or part-time, it can really change their life. Having an extra $30 to them in their daily life is just drastic. It's just like how an average American all of a sudden got like extra $20 by just working online part-time or even full-time, depending on the position. So it's really incredible how the dollar amount that we have over here in the United States, that's where I live at least, how much leverage it can pull off, and at the same time on how it can potentially help someone's life and their family, because they're very hardworking people and really value their hard work and their families more than any other country, I believe, in my opinion. I've been talking to a lot of people, and people from different countries, and probably they have one of the most ethical and moral values when it comes to human beings or who they are as people. So I really appreciate them. Not saying other people are not like that, but they just prove time to time that they've been one of the hardworking people when it comes to virtual assistant or delegation. So that's a great place to look, along with India. So what are you looking for when it comes to an employee or a virtual assistant, is some of the questions you have to ask yourself before you make a hiring decision, right? Because you're gonna ask yourself, am I hiring someone who's gonna do it full-time or part-time? And depending on if they're working part-time or full-time, that's how much you have to pay them at the same time, right? Because at the end of the day, most people, when they want to be a virtual assistant, is because they want to get paid or find a more flexible way of getting paid for themselves. So for my virtual assistant, she was out of job because of COVID. She was actually a recruiter, so she was actually looking for something that she can work remotely home, and most of her family members work remotely at home doing online work. So It's something that she always wanted to do, but she didn't have the right platform or had the experience to do it. But I'll go a little bit deeper when it comes to experience, why I didn't really care about that. So when you do hire someone, you got to understand like what country this person is from and are they able to work from your time zone, right? Because if you're hiring the United States, you got to pay US labor, right? Compared to my charge developing countries or third world countries, right? So when it comes to the United States, you got to pay like almost like $8 to $10 compared to what you can pay like $3 when it comes to India or the Philippines, right? So you got to know what country you're hiring from. But the good thing about if they're in the same time zone with you, then communication is very clear and you guys can get things done very rapidly at a very similar pace, or when it comes to deadlines, because you're in the same time zone, obviously, right? When it comes to hiring someone overseas, that's when you have to really rethink on how this schedule is going to work. How is she going to email? How is she going to reach out to clients? How is she or he going to manage this time differences so we can actually produce the sales or actually reach the goals that you have for that person when you first hire them in the first place, right? So it's very important for you to figure out a schedule or together on how it could be worked properly. And my virtual assistant and we've been talking the past 3 weeks on trying to find out a good schedule, and we've been testing out a couple days here, a couple weeks here, what she finds is the best schedule for her. So she's improving really gradually too, so I'm pretty excited about that. So obviously when it comes to budget, you want to make sure on, like I said before, on what country you're going to hire and what kind of criteria is looking for. And if when it comes to experience, you might have to bump up your price a little bit. And sometimes these people, they want to negotiate about their pay, because obviously pay is a sensitive subject and it depends on how much value they can bring up to you, to the business owner, right? So that's something that has to be discussed, but I haven't really faced any issues with that. So you also have to find out what your interview process is. I know a guy who's really big in the social media marketing space, actually had multiple sets of people that actually apply for the position as his employee, obviously. So he told them like, yeah, so I want a couple lists of restaurants that you guys will recommend in this city of this state in the United States, why I should eat there, what some good things, and write a review of a copy that makes me really want to sit down and eat that restaurant one day. And so he did a list of things, a list of tasks that these virtual assistants had to do, and a sort of deadline. And he chose someone that he actually saw, who actually followed the instructions that he asked for, and actually give an enticing value when it comes to copy as for his marketing agency. And I thought it was pretty smart, because all you have to do is set a deadline and give all these set of instructions, and whoever executes properly or done it well is basically the person you want to hire, right? But for me, it was a little bit different, and I'll share with you why I did it differently. So you got to know what your qualification process is, right? You can't just like say, oh, this person looks cute in the picture, so all of a sudden you're hired. You got to know your hiring process, which is what we're going to talk about right now. Like I said before, I hired someone that had no experience whatsoever. And so the question comes up with, why did you do that, right? Because I didn't really care about much experience, because my virtual assistant that I was looking for was someone who had decent interpersonal skills, was able to communicate really properly with people, and wasn't afraid to ask solid buying questions or positioning ourselves as the expert, because it's all about making sure you give them the right value. So basically my hiring process was very simple. There was like multiple people that applied, because I made it very attractive, because I want to make a win-win situation for my virtual assistant if I supposedly hire that person, and for myself as well, right? So it was all about making sure, like, client outreach, making sure if she's saying the right things, she's making sure that she has some basic sales skills to overcome certain objections. So I said, hey, I have to think it over. I love the program, but I just have to think it over. I basically made some objections that had made no sense, and I gave it to all the same objections, same problems, I told them, hey, sell me on this. Sure, you have this experience in sales. Sell me on that. And I put them on the spot. It's kind of brutal how now that I think of it, but out of all the people, I chose the person that had no experience but gave me the best response that I was looking for. And I think it was one of the better decisions I make when it comes to business. I'm saving so much time and a lot of stress relief from not focusing, like doing things that are boring to me or like that doesn't bring any value to me. It's very important to do it, but it's not making me money the next day or 2 days from now. So I just really appreciated how she was able to gradually grow, because I knew she was the right person as we kept on talking, and knowing that I qualified her continuously, making sure she had the right amount of time and she had not necessarily, she didn't have the experience, but I just want to make sure she was the right person that I was looking for when it comes to as a quality person or as a first employee, right? And I've been loving, man. Like, I don't know what else to say besides that. She's been doing really, really well and paying attention to detail, even though she's really, really quiet. One of the things that we realized with all my friends who are in this digital space or business space that who hire VAs, they're really, really quiet, because those what it really means is they're really trying to pay attention to you and hear from you, and see how they could internalize it and use it the proper way through their knowledge. It's really interesting because most people don't do that. You'll be very surprised how many people actually don't do that. So when they're quiet, your virtual assistant, that means they're really, really paying attention to you, and they usually are quiet for a reason. So don't take that as a negative thing. It threw me off when I first had a conversation with her, but it's actually a good sign, so I won't be worried, just to give you guys a heads up. Also, I just want to share you guys my most valuable lesson, right, is that you're dealing with real people at the end. So you have to have the responsibility if things are effed up or things are not working out, or a client get mad at your VA, it's because of you, because you haven't done the proper training. And there's been times where I felt like I'd done the proper training, but I didn't give enough training for her. And when I did and point out some things that I felt like she was screwing up on, and she really internalized it and really bettered her situation and showed a lot of improvement throughout the days, as I saw the records and I saw all the work that she put in. It was just really amazing to see all that growth and get the response from the clients. And we just made it a win-win situation. I'm obviously saving a lot of time, and she's actually getting paid at the same time, but she's helping me making more money at the end. I'm actually putting less amount of work on my hours and efforts, but I'm basically getting paid the same. And I think that's the most valuable thing, because I can focus on things that I can produce more money on. And it's just only been 3 weeks, and I already matched the money that I made last month, even though I worked probably more hours and probably put more effort in it. I put less hours in it, and I'm getting the same results. So I love it, man, because time is the most valuable thing. You can always make more money, but you can't always make more time for yourself. But even though you can make more time, you can hire someone to actually have more time for things that you could focus on. So never forget about that. Your time is the most valuable thing. And if you guys like content like this, follow me on Instagram so you can reach out to me. Give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one, on your next business journey. Peace.